My first question to Dr. Ravi Narayanji, how do you connect this primarily with the research? Because you are heading the research wing, sir.
Discussing about the quality and evidence-based practice. Quality, the first, then comes the evidence-based practice. And but to substantiate that, Government of India has recently developed different schemes, and we are doing collaborative research with different organizations of repute to create evidence of that thing, evidence of practice, and publish them in reputed journals with robust scientific methods, so that others will accept it. And this is not only to Ayurveda. Homeopathy is also doing in the same way, and Unani is also doing in the same way. By establishing different chairs, continuing different projects, I can't count the different number of that, but that aspect is going on. And as Secretary had told, under the Ayurveda biology schemes, for the first time that we know in many countries our drugs are being marketed in the nutraceuticals, but till today US FDA has not approved a single botanicals from the India, or only 2 products are as on today available. So we are planning, and Government of India is a mission, as Rajiv ji told rightly, what is the mission of 2020, 2024, 29 and 2047. We have a plan, we have a 100 days plan. Honorable Prime Minister has already PMO has discussed, and we have proposed 100 days plan from June, then 2030 plan and 47 plan. It is already in pipeline, and for this purpose, for the globalization, that is Government of India, Minister of Ayush has a plan that will develop 3 botanicals as a drug by 2030 in the global level, and in continuation of that, we have now going for 5 botanicals to be established as a drug under US FDA parallels. With that, what are the parameters, everything, that is near about 100 crores project is that one for that purpose, and also Ayurvedic biology. There we have selected Ashwagandha as the first drug, then Sallaki, then Methika, then Shunthi, and another drug is Brahmi. So these 5 drugs has been selected, and with all the qualities, sir, you know, you are because more international than anybody else present here, that all the these botanicals will be studied on A to Z GLP categories laboratories, starting from its quality, safety and efficacy. All will be carried out in a GLP certified, also and on the single laboratory, which is having all facilities there, starting from its cultivation source. And if you analyze, out of these 5 species, 4 are cultivar. So we can assure the quality, its passport data, starting from its passport data till its efficacy in foreign countries by conducting clinical trials. That will be in the stage 1, stage 2, stage 3, 4. So this is our long plan for that purpose. And we are also continuing for the product development in the research quality. We have conducting some research. We have already conducted with WHO research studies for international standards and marketing for AMRA. We are conducting, and All India Institute of Ayurveda is also conducting some research with different countries for that purpose. As told by Rajiv ji, what the research things we are carrying out, sir. As we all know, as on today, in government sector, everybody expect that research innovations should come from government sector. And as on today, there is no such dedicated human resource, though we have the research councils of Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, Homeopathy, and all these things, but to create a dedicated human resources mindset, Government of India, since last 2 years, and CCRS has started the giving scholarships starting from the undergraduate level. We have a Spark scheme where we give scholarships of 200 scholars every year to have some innovative projects, and take 50,000 for 2 months with undergraduate student for that purpose, and a good response. And companies are, some laboratories, some students are coming up with good proposals and innovation. Some startups are also there. We are providing scholarships to 100. CCRS is providing, and now after last year, Unani also and also Homeopathy, they are providing scholarship to undergraduate scholars. Now we are providing scholarship to postgraduate scholars, 1 lakh per scholar. and 100 scholarships every year to support for some research activities in that aspect. We are providing every year 100 PhDs for research title, and that covers Ayush in toto. And Ayush, Ayurveda is particular, we are providing 10 PhD, 10 postdoc every year. Any scientist, that is not limited to Ayurveda, that is open to all, biology, microbiology, every science, students can, research scholar can come. And we have started, sir, for this inculcating of research ideas among our medical officers, our practitioners. We have developed a scheme that is known as Ayurveda Jnana Naipunya Initiatives, Agni, where we call for proposals, some innovations with the physicians, some new formulations, how to make them scientific, how to collect. One of the major drawback with our Ayurveda physicians, or I can talk about Ayurveda, is that collection, quality collection of the data and scientific validations, that thing. For that purpose also, we have developed a scheme last year, and with good response. And also, as we know, to have a strong research methodology, statistics, now CCRS has come up with a scheme known as our ARM, Ayurveda Research Methodology and all scheme. So we are now giving trainings, continuous training to the PG scholars, Ayurveda faculties. And for your kind information, another is our strong area is we have more than 700 Ayurveda colleges. Now CCRS has started schemes to handhold those teachers. Though PG, PhD schemes are being going on. There we are providing near about, last year we have provided near about 10 crores projects to them, and 38 Ayurveda colleges we are providing collaborative research under the scheme SMART. So that every teacher to make research orientation in that aspect for that purpose. So these are the some screening, and also for this Rajiv ji told what is the training and all this purpose. Ministry has started a new center, training center known as Ayush Diksha for the first time. That is dedicatedly for training of the teachers, physicians, pharmacists, and also different type of activities throughout the year. A dedicated center is going to be established. We have already planned and approved by the ministry. All the program is started. That is at Bhubaneswar, Ayush Diksha. So this type of activities are going on now, sir. Secretary sir has told, sir, for this research purpose, we are working with different ministries. Previously, what happens now, Ayush ministry works a silo. We have to carry out our own research. So now we have worked with Ministry of Defense for the first time, even if modern people doesn't, but we have started at the Leh Ladakh high altitude sickness. Some of our product of CCRS has been evaluated there for their efficacy. We are working with Ministry of Women Development and Child Death for this eradication of anemia, Anemia Mukt Bharat program. So that is a last scheme program. So that near about all over India, we are 13 some blocks we have taken for that purpose. We are working with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs to have because we know, till now we don't have any concrete study about health-seeking behaviors of the populations. Of Indian populations. We have many studies, CIA is conducting all these things, but a robust study about the health-seeking behavior of the population for that purpose also, and also for the tribal people. That we are working with Minister of Tribal Affairs, a 15 crores project, a big project. We are working all the schools there out of anemia project. That we are working with Department of Health and Center for particularly ICMR Institute for dengue, some other disease conditions communicable. We have always said that Ayurveda is for non-communicable, but we have showcased our strength. We all know during the COVID time. So some communicable disease conditions also we are working with ICMR in particular, and the Secretary has told regarding integrative, all the research we are also working.
Dr. Saji Kumar, you have been very actively working in Kerala as well as in the central states of CII. I would like to ask you, what are some of the challenges that you see when it comes to globalization of Ayush products, and how do we build trust for products as well as for services?
We could see that over a period of many years, I think CA has been working in building for the same question you have asked. That means building trust. I think the trust is on the go, because otherwise, the industry will not achieve from $3 billion to $24 billion by this time. But at the same time, as you asked, there are challenges even to address more. When we hear Dr. Ravidarananji saying that a lot of things coming in making these 5 herbs into drugs, as well as capacity building and postdoctoral scholarship, all this coming, I think we could be able to showcase ourselves in the international scenario. See the challenges, especially in getting approval for the Ayush medicines outside India, is especially the document, the dossiers, and also making them understand that this medicines works in their language. So I think we should have 2 set of lobbying has to happen. That means we have to explain in their language on one side, and on the other side we have to explain the Ayush philosophy as well as the research in the Ayush way, how it being effective. We will not be able to explain each and every aspects of Ayush medicines or Ayush services in the way which the modern medicine or the other healthcare solution providers looks at. So I think we need to have the components. For that, there could be some agencies like CI or some other agencies where we need to work together, collaborate with the departments or agencies of other countries, and lobbying them to understand. So that is why all this I think almost 30 countries approve Ayurveda medicines in outside world. But getting into the other countries, definitely it requires a robust lobbying in the other countries. And also we need centers or agencies in India to support the industry extensively, to how to actually go for registrations in other countries. That is one thing which is required. And at the same time, we have to see that how we can build the trust not only in India and outside India. Definitely we have the challenges is that we have both disciplines, that the Ayurveda or the Ayush has a strong philosophy. At the same time, we are backed by science. When we explain both together, definitely it requires some kind of confrontation. So when we talk about more philosophy, definitely there is been a lot of questions being asked. But we have to explain it because not only the science part, other than that, I think we have to explain the science part of the philosophy, because we are explaining more about the nutritional functional medicine. And we are actually explaining about or practicing the connectivity with the body, mind, soul, and in other areas where the other healthcare providers are not practicing, especially allopathy medicine is not practicing. We actually practices other areas other than medicine. So it also requires some kind of scientific explanation. It has to be backed by science. So when we explain both philosophy as well as the science part effectively, and we have to build a culture of building trust in a different way where the modern medicine has built. So let us not go through the same way where the modern medicine has built the trust. I think we need to have a different set of understanding of building trust of the science behind philosophy of Ayush medicines and Ayush success. That is most required, and it requires different levels of lobbying. I think we have to educate extensively in the schools, colleges, the other departments and the other industries. At the same time, we have to also educate the other modern medicine, the healthcare providers. We cannot sit in different tables. I think we have to educate, make them understand the healthcare sector, because they are the people who actually provide more services to the people in very critical situations. So I think they also should be educated well during the college times, so that the trust could be built in a collaborative way. That's it. Thank you so much.
I would like you to just speak a little bit on the regulatory part, because one of the problems that we face normally is that we get our products ready for one region maybe.
Yeah, thank you, Doctor. And first of all, thank you, CIA, for making such a wonderful arrangement. With regard to the regulatory requirements, quite frankly, there is a lot of lack of clarity also within the countries where they are bringing in the practice of alternative. So it is known by different names in different countries in with regard to the regulatory. For example, somebody says it's traditional medicine, somebody says it's alternative medicine, somebody says it's natural medicine or herbal medicine. So there are different categories which have also been there, and some countries don't have. There is no guideline. So straight away they apply typically the modern medicine guidelines. And even some of the underdeveloped countries where unfortunately they may not have all the infrastructure to prepare guidelines, it's largely taken from US FDA or European standards. So it's sometimes it's little surprising to see even African countries. You find the guidelines are so demanding. So fundamentally, I think people, all the countries are looking for three aspects. One is the safety, both of the product and also of the ingredients, and then the mechanisms of action, how the drug works, and then lastly, of course, clinical evidence. So these three are the three things. In some way, you will see the process of regulatory approvals for drugs have these three elements. And we as a company have been focusing on all these things, and right from the early days. So we have had the fortune through this exercise to have quite a few of our products approved as drugs. I mean, we have not gone through the route of taking them into as drugs. So some of our products for psoriasis or vitiligo have been taken up as drugs in a few countries. After a lot of, it takes about 3 years time to get these things. But still, the claims which you can have here in India and the claims which you can limit. So you will also have to limit some of the claims, because the exercise of making the claim will involve doing a lot of clinical evaluation in those countries. So some of these things, as you mentioned, that it varies from country to country, and the localization of the product in that country will require evidence also to be created in that country. So it's very expensive sometimes and also exhausting, because it can take several. Because of lack of clarity in some of the countries, it also comes to a stumbling block, how to take it forward. So this is where interest of marketing Ayush products from the countries needs to be created. You need business enterprises in those countries who are fairly excited to go and introduce those products in those countries. It is not possible for Indian companies to always go. So we need to also look at people who can take it up, international business partners who can take it up and, in those countries. It involves a lot of lobbying. Lobbying is a word which is being used today. So it involves a lot of lobbying in those countries. So it will be very good to have a lot of business partners to come into such things. Lastly, I would say that to establish these three things, which is safety, efficacy and clinical efficacy and all these things, Indian ecosystem requires a lot of facilitated environment for testing and subsidized way, because it is very exhausting to even test raw material right to the finished products in approved laboratories, and it needs to be done afresh for each country. It's not that you can just have one. And secondly, you asked about Siddha particularly. As I mentioned in the beginning, beyond the shores of India, it blurs. Ayurveda or Siddha or Unani is all blurred into some category of traditional medicine or natural medicines, except a few countries where for Ayurveda has been recognized. So in this platform, I would like to request the Ayush Ministry to extend wherever Ayurveda has been recognized. Take it as the Honorable Secretary was saying, that it needs to be looked at as an integrated thing as Ayush. needs to be included as an approved system of medicines in countries where Ayurveda has been formally recognized. So I'll park here for the moment, and I will look forward to another opportunity.
Just one follow up on this. Like this is the challenges you are mentioning. Any possible like solutions that you can suggest for this, especially for this regulatory part?
I think solution.
How can we solve those?
First is I think Indian clarity, because when we don't have a clear understanding of the regulatory, where we discover a lot of things, many companies, I mean, including us, we discover a lot of things on the way. After 1 year, some questions are being asked. After a certain stage, another round of questions. So if there is a good document or a compendium of all the regulatory requirements are available, I'm happy that Ayush Excel has been formed and some step has been taken up. Some countries, the availability of the regulatory framework itself is not there, available on a public domain. It's hidden somewhere in the respective countries, various ministries, sections. So we need to surface those out and also be able to interpret and be able to present to the industry so that we are upfront prepared. And when we go and talk to business partners, we can say, yes, we are confident of meeting the country's regulatory. I'm also happy to say that once you pass that regulatory test, irrespective of systems of medicine, as Dr. Shaji Kumar was saying, irrespective of systems of medicine, doctors are willing, doctors from modern systems. We have some of our products being supported by dermatologists outside India. I mean, they are more than welcome if the solution is there. So that's a huge opportunity waiting. If products pass their country's regulations, the countries are waiting for good solutions for many of the problems which I would certainly urge that the availability of guidelines in a single placeholder will make a huge impact to the industry, and I am happy that some work is already being done.
Thank you. I think the Ayush Excel is already like working on this area, and as Secretary Sir mentioned, there's already a list of regulatory framework which is available. So, but definitely this area requires more clarity, and I think more even training to the sector, industry who want to export products. I know personally that Unani has a great potential also, because I studied in a college where Ayurveda and Unani were side by side in the Tibia College, Delhi. And but I see that Unani is still limited to just a few regions only, mainly Middle East and some countries. So what is your view on like how can we globalize Unani, and also like what is the current status and some challenges that you see?
Appreciate the opportunity to briefly present the current status of Unani system of medicine from both a national and global perspective at this conclave today. Let me give a brief introduction. The Unani system of medicine, with its rich history of holistic approach to healing, has found a welcoming home in India. This ancient system is from the Hippocrates, and Galen was further developed by and refined by Arabs and Persian Hakims who brought their knowledge and expertise to the Indian subcontinent. The challenge is to utilize the information, education and communication activities like exhibitions, fairs and trainings, conferences, seminars to strengthen, develop and promote the Unani system of medicine nationally and internationally. We should encourage collaboration among all Unani stakeholders, including industry practitioners, researchers, raw material providers, to enhance their activities. Advocate for national and international certifications of production facilities to meet global standards and ensure the acceptance of Unani medicines worldwide, and also to provide assistance to Unani manufacturing units to establish laboratories and R&D facilities with international standards in India to ease the approvals of Unani medicine and promote their international acceptance. As far as I know, this Unani is being practiced close to 80 to 84 countries all over the world. But the challenge is they have their own different names. Some of them are calling them as Eastern medicine. Some of them are calling them as Islamic medicine, and some of them are having their own names. But traditionally, from the same background they are coming from. So, as India, as a Unani leader, and we are the largest producer of Unani medicine in India. And in terms of practitioners also, we have got close to 51,000 practitioners as of now. So I think if we can suggest and bring about a unique name of Unani medicine to represent this system of medicine all over the world, which will also benefit the entire growth of this sector, Unani, in India.
So this is something news for me, that in different countries they call it different names. So now moving on to homeopathy. It's a good panel. We have experts from different fields. Dr. Tushar Mittalji. So what are some of the challenges that you face, especially when it comes to globalization or exporting homeopathic products, in terms of registration or other functions that are required for export?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chauhan. See, what I will tell you my first-hand experience, because I stayed and practiced 4 years abroad and seen those challenges in practicing and getting procurement of medicines, dispensing medicines. There are a lot of challenges that way. Now, the most important what we have found in homeopathy, certain countries, because alcohol content is there, so that is the first thing. Second, suppose we have about 200, 300, we start the practice or you want to start exporting there, we need to have at least 100 to 200 dilutions. Now, the registration charge for per medicine is so expensive, and it needs to be renewed every 5 years. And per dilution, we have different potencies. So, overall, the overall market, what it is, and the cost somebody has to bear, that does not match. So, it does not make a business sense there. That is the reason why we are not able to get even the stockist and retailers. And because sometimes, we feel whether we are not able to explain them what we are, traditional medicine or homeopathy or Ayurveda, or they are not able to understand what we are trying to tell them. This is a big mismatch because they don't have it. In fact, most of the places where homeopathy is practiced, there is no education, formal education available there. So those who study in other countries, they practice there. So I think we also need to have collaborations with universities there, so that we can develop more practitioners there, and the medicines can be, there would be more takers, there would be more, I have seen their insurance, even the insurance part. They don't allow all the medicines there. So these are the hurdles. Why? Because if these things will not develop, we won't be able to go ahead with our exports, even the practice there. So these are the common things which we have seen, and they raise very vague questions because they are not aware what to ask. So there are no direct answers to those questions, and most of the parameters what they found, they are copy pasted from certain Western countries. So they don't know about it, they are just copy pasted because they themselves, they don't understand it. Now, even the drugs, whether they fall under the category of natural substances or a drug, that is also an issue. So that's why we are not able to position where we put it. How do we go ahead there? So I think these are the important things. Plus, then the cost is right, that import duties on certain drugs is very high. So those things, plus supply chain management is there, and not to go very far away. If you go to Bangladesh, for example, if you want to export few of your products, the import duty is quite high.
So, these are the challenges which we face, and I am sure we will find some solutions out of it.
Rabi Narayanji, again to you. You mentioned very nicely what different schemes the government is, already undertaken. So, what do you think is the role of research, and specifically when it comes to globalization of the Ayush products?
Thank you, sir. As regards, as I told, whenever we talk about globalizations, the first question comes about standard, then comes safety, then comes efficacy, and safety and efficacy evidence-based. All are evidence-based. So, that's why CCRS, particularly because I'm working in that organization, I can say about that. We are, as you know, since last 50 years post-independence, whatever the research has been carried out, we are just, it may be homeopathy, it may be Ayurveda, Unani or Ayurveda, we are forced to do research only to validate. Though we'll validate our classical product, that yes, our drugs are safety. There is a research paper in some journals, the pharmacovigilance concern. Then we have started a project by SAFER that Ayurveda herbal medicines contain metals. We have published, and that's why that part is over now. Almost all the metals, minerals which are being used in Ayurveda, we have the safety dossier with us. I can say that with GLP lab conditions, but in atmost all the good lab conditions, and we are now, for your kind information, all the bhasmas and some more frequently will be Ayurvedic preparations. We have working with Triple IM, CDRI Lucknow there to validate having in the GLP conditions the safety aspect of some of the bhasmas and the very commonly used Ayurvedic, just like Swaskuta Ras, all these the very commonly used preparations. And another thing, we have already planned, as you know, CCRS has developed, one of its mandate is to develop some research product. We have already in the market with more than 25 products in the brand name of Ayush. We are now developing this safety dossiers, which is mandatory for not only for national but also for a global purpose. Safety and efficacy dossiers. So whatever now we will give the technology transfer to the companies, we will give this dossier with all safety, and that's why we are in touch with CII. We have previously fixed a date in February, and now we are going to fix that date in March, in the month of April, that we will come up with all the dossiers, all the research product, and we are validating starting from its passport data till its clinical validations, so that we can have that, yes, these are the research product which are happening, which can meet the global standards in that aspect. That's what we are planning. And also Ministry is planning for that botanicals development in that aspect.
Yes, Rajgopal, you want to say something?
Yeah, I think there is another, we've been talking a lot about the new sectors, etc. The e-commerce sector, I think it's been beginning to give huge opportunities for the industry to connect possibly directly to consumers, particularly where there is a lot of, today everybody goes online and searches what is there, what is the latest, how can their problems be solved. So, a lot of export happens also through the platforms, various platforms. But yes, somewhere regulatory issues do come up. But somebody, Dr. Chauhan was talking about building trust. This could possibly be a way of building trust. Consumers all over the world have actually experienced the use of course, it will be difficult to do services beyond a point, but products, when they use, I'm sure there would be great opportunity for more familiarization in an indirect way, where people benefit and then so e-commerce, global e-commerce across countries is a booming area, and I'm sure Ayush companies are already doing. It can be a growth driver for the industry.
In order to globalize the products, marketing is one of the biggest things that we need to work on. So what are your suggestions maybe for marketing part? What do you want to suggest maybe from the government side or from the industry side? What kind of support is needed, and what kind of strategy we should make for marketing?
Yeah, thanks, Dr. Pratapji. So I was just thinking out of your, Dr. Ravinarayanji, out of your total products giving license, we have 2 licenses of you, I-64 and SD. Okay, so the marketing, definitely, this is one way of actually marketing, because CCRI is making many products. I think that trust because people trust when it comes from CCRIS. So how we actually communicate this kind of government initiatives as well as industry initiatives effectively to the public matters. So there are various forums where our Ayush practitioners has to communicate, has to engage effectively to present ourselves as we actually practice authentic systems of medicine. That is one major important things which we have to do, because even though we are very much service oriented, but coming to the platforms of other areas like various industry associations as well as the other industries matters, for which definitely I should really appreciate the initiative taken by our Rajiv ji, because Rajiv ji, after maybe some 15 years or 20 years back, he actually pushed Ayurveda into the other sectors. He was always talking that we should not confine to ourselves. I think we should say what we are to the outside world, and I think it is his initiative that taken CI forming this initiative and taking Ayurveda or Ayush people to the outside world. I think this kind of initiatives has to continue. I think we have to present ourselves to the outside world and say, and we have to be in the same page, saying that whatever we say, when Ayush practitioners say something, it has to be the same. Everyone should read the same page, and we have to make the healthcare allopathy practitioners also to read the same page, and the public also should read the same page. We should not talk different things at different places. That's what. So that single message, always continuously hitting on the single message, what Ayush can do to the world, that has to go to the entire globe. That's it. Thank you.